Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to HHS online class. I'm Miss Usa Shahab, your science and math teacher. I hope you all are fine and staying healthy and safe through these unusual times. Today we have math session of week 2 and we are going to learn about rectangles. By the end of this lecture, you would be able to define the properties of rectangle and find the unknown angles of rectangle. Dear students, as we all know that the rectangles can be seen all over the place in everyday life. From the letter box that your mail comes through to the kitchen table you eat your breakfast on. The rectangle is very common and important shape. So what other rectangular shapes can you think of? Let's learn about the properties of rectangle. The first property of a rectangle is it is a quadrilateral with two dimensions, that is length and width. We also call width as breadth. Do you remember the term quadrilateral means? Well, students, quadrilateral means four sides. Let's learn about the next property of a rectangle. The next property of a rectangle is the opposite sides of rectangles are equal. Here you can see the rectangle on the screen. Let's name it as ABCD rectangle. Now you can see the two horizontal lines on the rectangle. We can name them as line AB and line CD. Now two lines are left that are vertical lines. We can name them as line BD and line AC. Students, as we know that opposite sides of a rectangle are equal in length. So, if line AB is 12 centimeters long, then line CD would also be 12 centimeters long. Similarly, if line BD is 4 centimeters long, then line AC would also be 4 centimeters long. In this way, we can say that the opposite sides of a rectangle are equal in length. Let's learn about the next property of a rectangle. There are two pairs of parallel lines in a rectangle. Here you can see a figure of a rectangle. We can name it as rectangle ABCD. So students, here you can see the two horizontal lines, line AB and line CD. Now you can see that there are two vertical lines, line BD and line AC. So line AB is parallel to line CD or line CD is parallel to line AB. Line BD is parallel to line AC or line AC is parallel to BD. In this way, we can say that there are two pairs of parallel lines in a rectangle. The next property of a rectangle is there are two pairs of perpendicular lines in a rectangle. Here you can see the figure of a rectangle on the screen. We can name it as rectangle ABCD. Now there are two horizontal lines in a rectangle and there are two vertical lines. We can name them as line AB and line CD, line BC and line AD. Line AB is perpendicular to line DA. Why? Because at point A an angle is forming which is equals to 90 degrees. Line AB is perpendicular to line BC. Why? Because at point P an angle is forming which is equals to 90 degrees. Line CD is perpendicular to line DA. Why? Because at point D an angle is forming which is equals to 90 degrees. And line CD is perpendicular to line CB because an angle is forming which is again equals to 90 degrees. So we can say that there are two pairs of perpendicular lines in a rectangle. The next property of a rectangle is it has four angles and all four angles of a rectangle are 90 degrees. Here you can see the figure of a rectangle and there are four small red boxes in the square. So we can say that there are four angles of a rectangle which are equal to 90 degrees. The next property of a rectangle is the sum of all four angles in a rectangle is 360 degrees. You can see the figure of a rectangle on the screen. As there are four right angles in a rectangle, so when we add 4 times 90, it would be 360. In this way, we can say that the sum of all four angles is equal to 360 degrees. Let's learn about the next property of a rectangle. The next property of a rectangle is the diagonal bisect opposite angles and create an angle equals to 45 degrees. Here you can see the figure of a rectangle on the screen. Let's name it as rectangle ABCD. Now I'm drawing a diagonal line in a rectangle. Here you can see that the diagonal is bisecting opposite angles and create an angle of 45 degrees. Why it is of 45 degrees? Because we know that one angle is equals to 90 degrees. So 90 45 would be 45. In this way we can say that the diagonal bisect opposite angles and create an angle equals to 45 degrees. Let's learn about how can we construct a rectangle. Here you can see the horizontal line on the screen. Let's name it as line DC. And I'm drawing another line which is a vertical line. We can name it as line BC. Now I'm drawing another horizontal line AB. And now I'm joining the point A to D, which is making a rectangle. Now you can see the two small lines on the rectangle. We can say that the opposite sides of a rectangle are equal to each other and the opposite sides of a rectangle are parallel to each other. Let's discuss about the angles in a rectangle. We know that there are four right angles in a rectangle. So angle ABC is equals to 90 degrees. Angle DAB is also of 90 degrees. Angle BCD is equals to 90 degrees. And angle CDA is also of 90 degrees. Let's learn about how to find the unknown angle in a rectangle. Let's take an example 1. The question is KLMN is a rectangle, find angle X. Here you can see the figure of a rectangle KLMN. As we know that the angles in a rectangle are right angles that are equals to 90 degrees, so angle KLM is equals to 90 degrees. The angle X would be 90 degree minus 50 degree. So when we subtract 50 from 90, we get 40. In this way, we can say that angle X is equals to 40 degrees. Let's take another example. The question is PQRS is a rectangle, angle RQS is equals to 55 degrees, find angle Y. Here you can see the figure of a rectangle PQRS. As we know that the angles in a rectangle are right angles, so angle PQR is equals to 90 degrees. Angle RQS is equals to 55 degrees. So angle Y would be 90 degrees minus 55 degrees. If we subtract 55 from 90, we get 35. In this way, we can say that angle Y is equals to 35 degrees. Let's take another example. The question is BCDE is a rectangle. Angle DCA is equal to 60 degrees. Find angle BCA. Here you can see the figure of a rectangle BCDE. As we know that the angles in a rectangle are right angles, so angle BCD is equals to 90 degrees. Angle DCA is equals to 60 degrees. So angle BCA would be 90 degrees minus 60 degrees. So when we subtract 60 from 90, we get 30. In this way, we can say that angle BCA is equals to 30 degrees. Let's talk about the today's task. The task is complete and submit the assignment uploaded in Google Classroom. So this was all about today's lecture. See you soon. Allah Hafiz.